Deep in the wild, where ancient trees touch the sky, steel monsters awaken, blades spin, jaws bite, and the forest's raw power meets unstoppable force. Welcome to Giant Redwood. In the heart of the yard, the drumwood crusher stands ready, a steel monster built to chew through logs, branches, and even slabs no other chipper dares to touch. Picture a heavy log fed onto the vibrating conveyor. As it moves forward, hidden blades inside the massive rotating drum come to life, spinning at high speed, each blade slicing and shredding the wood against counterblades fixed to the housing. Every rotation tears fibers apart, reducing bulky logs into fine, fluffy sawdust. Unlike basic disc chippers, the drum crusher handles not just clean trunks but also knotty branches, bark, and even mill offcuts. Nothing clogs, nothing escapes, just a steady stream of uniform sawdust pouring out the chute. Operators monitor the drum's speed, tension, and feed rate from a safe control station. Sensors track jams and vibrations, ready to shut the system down in an instant if a chunk of hidden metal sneaks in. Routine maintenance is key. Dull blades mean uneven particles, wasted fuel, and risks of overheating. But the reward is huge. The sawdust is soft, dry, and consistent, perfect for making biomass pellets, particle boards, or animal bedding. In some mills, this output fuels boilers that run the entire operation, turning waste into energy. Outside, you hear the low growl of the drum, the clatter of wood against steel, and the hiss of sawdust landing in massive piles. For every ton of timber that passes through, the forest's raw strength is transformed, not into waste but into fuel, warmth, and new materials ready for life beyond the log yard. In the world of firewood, raw logs are only the beginning. What truly matters is how you break them down, fast, clean, and safe. That's where the automatic firewood processor earns its name. Picture a cold yard at dawn, stacks of heavy logs piled high. Workers feed each log onto a sturdy conveyor. In one smooth motion, the log rolls forward into the processor's cutting chamber. A massive circular blade spinning at thousands of revolutions per minute drops down and slices the log into rounds, each one the perfect length for a fireplace or stove. But the magic happens next. The fresh-cut round slides down a chute into the splitting chamber. A powerful hydraulic wedge pushes forward, cracking the round into quarters, sixths, or even eighths in a single push. Some machines have a cross-split head, a steel blade shaped like a plus sign that splits logs multiple ways at once. It's like watching raw muscle and perfect geometry working together. The entire process is controlled from a safe operator station. One person with a joystick and a set of levers can process an entire truckload in hours instead of days. Sensors track each log's position, so the blade only drops when everything lines up perfectly. Emergency stops and protective shields keep the worker safe from flying debris or sudden jams. Automatic firewood processors aren't just about speed, they're about precision and profit. Clean cuts mean uniform pieces that stack tightly, dry evenly, and burn longer. For commercial firewood sellers, that means every log is turned into the most valuable product possible with almost no waste, and these machines can handle more than just soft pine or birch. Heavy-duty processors rip through dense hardwoods like oak and maple, spitting out neat piles of firewood ready for drying, bundling, and sale. Around the processor you hear the steady rhythm, logs feeding in, blades humming, wood splitting with that sharp, satisfying crack. Conveyor belts carry finished firewood to pallets or bins, forklifts whisk away full loads, and the cycle repeats round after round. In the end, the automatic firewood processor is a perfect blend of steel, hydraulics, and human skill, transforming rough logs into fuel that keeps homes warm through the coldest nights. When a tree falls, the work isn't done. The stump left behind can be tougher than the whole trunk. That's when the vertical stump grinder rolls in. Picture a steel disc mounted vertically at the end of a hydraulic arm. Dozens of carbide teeth spin like a buzzsaw, biting into the stubborn stump inch by inch. The operator lines up the blade, lowers it gently, and the disc chews through roots, hidden deep below the surface. Each pass spits out wood chips and dirt in a roaring spray. Underground roots that once anchored the tree get shredded until there's nothing left but a soft mound of mulch. Compared to digging or bulldozing, this leaves the ground smooth and ready for replanting, paving, or new construction. Safety comes first. Heavy shields block flying debris, and remote controls let the operator stay at a safe distance while the blade does its work. Even tough stumps that have hardened over decades surrender in minutes. In the end, the vertical stump grinder is a simple beast, a spinning wheel, sharp teeth, and hydraulic force turning solid timber into mulch. What once stood stubborn and immovable disappears, making space for new roots, new growth, and a forest that never stops changing. In places where the forest grows thick and wild, the disc mulcher rolls in like a roaring buzzsaw, clearing brush, saplings, and tangled undergrowth in minutes. Mounted to the front of a skid steer or excavator, the disc mulcher is a spinning steel wheel fitted with rows of rugged, replaceable teeth. When it touches brush, it doesn't just cut, it shreds. Saplings snap, vines disintegrate, and even small trees up to 6 inches thick can vanish in a single pass. Operators tilt and angle the head with hydraulic arms, keeping the spinning blade just above the soil line. They move methodically through the dense green tangle, from tall grass to thorny thickets, leaving behind a clean, mulched path that prevents regrowth and reduces fire hazards. Every spin sends mulch flying in a controlled spray. What was once a patch of impenetrable underbrush becomes a bed of fine wood chips, rich in nutrients for the soil and easy to break down naturally. Safety is always front and center. Heavy-duty covers shield the blade. High-strength chains or skirts help contain debris, while the cab keeps the operator safe from flying splinters or hidden rocks. From right-of-way clearing for power lines and roads to preparing new plots for replanting, the disc mulcher does the work of an entire crew with axes and machetes, but faster, safer, and with a fraction of the effort. When the work is done, the forest edge stands neat and open, ready for new growth, safe trails, and a landscape kept in check by spinning steel and a skilled hand at the controls. In the rugged world of modern forestry, one machine does what used to take a whole crew and days of work. It grabs, it drills, it shreds, it blasts sawdust across the yard, all with the power of steel and hydraulics. It all starts with the massive hydraulic grapple arm, the claw that grabs whole trees like twigs. Heavy steel jaws clamp down on trunks, branches, or tangled piles of brush. No matter how awkward the angle, the grapple pivots and rotates, lifting logs and feeding them precisely into the crusher. This saves hours of manual loading and makes the operation flow like clockwork. Next, the core, the powerful wood crusher. Unlike a simple chipper, this one uses a rotating drum packed with hardened blades. Logs pass through, shredded into fine particles in seconds. Thick limbs, knots, and stubborn branches stand no chance. The drum spins, blades bite, fibers crackle and snap. A steady roar fills the air as mountains of timber vanish into clouds of sawdust. But for logs too thick or twisted, there's a secret weapon, the auger drill head. Mounted alongside the grapple, this giant steel screw spins with brute force, drilling into trunks to break them apart from the inside. Tough, gnarled wood splits into manageable pieces, ready to be fed into the drum. It's precise but ruthless, a surgical strike that makes even the biggest stumps and root balls easy prey. Once the crusher has turned logs to sawdust, the final stage begins. A high-powered blower head kicks in, a turbine that fires sawdust through pipes or chutes to waiting piles, silos, or trucks. Instead of messy heaps underfoot, you get clean mounds ready for biomass fuel, pellet plants, or garden mulch. The air hums as the fine dust flies, controlled and directed like a river of powdered timber. What makes this setup so impressive isn't just raw power, it's the coordination. The operator sits in a reinforced cab, surrounded by joysticks, screens, and pressure gauges. One hand controls the grapple, twist, lift, swing. Another hand works the drill, punching holes in thick logs. Foot pedals adjust the crusher feed, while a single switch kicks the blower into gear when the sawdust flow builds up. Safety systems guard every moving part. Heavy shields block stray chips and flying debris. Sensors monitor blade sharpness, motor heat, and hydraulic pressure. If something jams or overloads, the machine shuts itself down in an instant, saving thousands in repairs and protecting the crew on the ground. When the day's work ends, piles of fine sawdust stand where tangled logs once lay. Proof that no trunk is too thick, no root too deep, no branch too tough for the timber beast. The grapple rests, the auger cools, the crusher's blades wait to spin again, and the blower settles with the last puff of powder drifting into the dusk. In the world of woodworking, no tool demands more respect than the table saw. It looks simple, just a flat surface, a spinning blade, and a fence for guiding timber. But in the right hands, it transforms rough planks into precise boards ready for furniture, framing, or fine joinery. Picture a dusty workshop at dawn. Stacks of timber rest beside the saw. Knotty pine, sturdy oak, heavy slabs that need to be ripped clean. The operator adjusts the fence, checking the measurement twice. He flips the power switch and the saw hums to life. A high, steady whir that cuts through the morning stillness. Each board feeds across the spinning blade, teeth biting smoothly. Sawdust rises in a fragrant cloud, caught by an extractor that hums beneath the table. The cut is clean. The blade's height and angle set just right to minimize tear out and waste. Even a fraction of an inch matters when you're preparing timber for cabinets or structural beams. The table saw does more than just straight cuts. A skilled operator knows how to tilt the blade for bevels, adjust the height for dados, or swap blades for different woods and grains. But that versatility comes with risk. Every piece of timber must be pushed through with steady hands, firm pressure, and total focus. A slip can mean kickback, the wood shooting back like a missile, or worse. That's why safety guards, riving knives, and push sticks are standard on every good table saw. They keep fingers away from the blade and help keep the timber pressed flat and steady. Even so, the real safeguard is the person behind the saw. Eyes locked on the cut line, ears tuned to the subtle changes in the blade's pitch that warn when wood binds or pinches. When the day ends, the table saw stands silent again, a thin haze of sawdust still drifting through the shop lights. Nearby, piles of cut boards wait for the next step. Planing, sanding, maybe fine joinery or turning. The table saw may look small compared to giant forestry machines, but on the shop floor, it's the king of the cut. In the world of forestry, few tools carry the same weight, respect, and danger as the chainsaw. It's a simple idea: a gas or electric motor driving a spinning chain lined with sharp teeth. But in the hands of a skilled worker, it can shape forests, fell giants, and carve paths through untamed land. Picture a crisp morning deep in the woods. Mist clings to the branches as a logger checks the saw, chain tension just right. Fuel topped up, oil flowing smoothly. He pulls the starter cord. The saw barks to life with a roar that echoes through the trees. It's more than noise. It's the sound of raw steel ready to bite into timber. A good chainsaw slices through thick trunks like a knife through butter. The bar length determines what it can tackle. Small saws for pruning and trimming, big ones with bars over 3 feet long for felling ancient giants. The teeth tear through fibers, spitting out chips in a steady stream. Each cut must be deliberate. One slip can bind the bar, snap the chain, or worse. Safety is never far from mind. Kevlar chaps, steel toe boots, face shields, and ear protection the standard. A split-second decision makes the difference between a clean cut and a dangerous kickback. When the tip of the bar hits a knot or hidden branch, and the saw jerks back toward the operator. That's why modern saws have chain brakes, low kickback bars, and specially designed chains that reduce the chance of disaster. But for all its danger, the chainsaw is a symbol of progress and raw skill. From clearing storm-down trees to carving timber beams for cabins, no other tool cuts as deep or as fast. Listen to the rhythm, the rev of the engine, the bite of the teeth, the roar as wood gives way. It's a dance between strength and finesse. The operator shifts their stance, watches the lean of the tree, plans each cut to avoid pinches or splits. One wrong angle and a whole trunk can twist or fall unpredictably. Chainsaws have evolved too. Battery models for quiet, small-scale work, massive gas-powered beasts for the heaviest felling jobs. Some models have auto-tensioning chains, anti-vibration handles, and even heated grips for sub-zero conditions. But the fundamentals stay the same: chain, bar, engine, and the steady hands of someone who knows how to tame it. The chainsaw is more than a tool. It's an icon of the wild, the edge where human skill meets nature's raw force. And in the hands of the right person, it's the sound of a forest changing shape, one cut at a time. Deep in the forest, the log skid ahead, clamps onto massive trunks like an iron fist. With giant tires or heavy tracks, it drags tons of raw timber over rough ground, muddy slopes, and tangled brush. One machine, one operator, hauling what would take a whole crew days to move. It's pure steel muscle, but one slip can turn this beast into a runaway danger.